Chapter 5. Sarabi. Sarabi placed a crown fashioned out of braided lemongrass over Ola's head. She was not happy with the young cub's brashness during tonight's hunting games. The way she lauded her team's win over the losing team's head was unbecoming of a lioness of their pride. She would speak with Viola about her daughter's lack of graciousness. Although the communal nature of their pride allowed for all the lionesses to have a say in what went on with the cubs, there were some things that were the responsibility of the mother. This was one of those instances. Still, the young cub had led the winning team. She had earned her place of honor in tonight's festivities. "Congratulations," Sarabi told her. She couldn't help adding, "May you humbly accept this token of your pride's admiration. Next time I'll catch an even bigger zebra. I won't even need my teammates' help." "Do you know what humbly means, Ola?" Sarabi asked. Just then, Ola's younger sister, Abena, ran up to them. Let me wear it, she said, reaching for Ola's crown. "No, get away," Ola said, shaking her off. She darted towards the area where the other cubs had gathered, the much slower Abena trailing behind. Sarabi stared at the retreating cubs and had to fight the pang of longing that nearly overwhelmed her. She released an even deeper sigh when she spotted Nala standing underneath the bare branches of a bush willow. Sarabi waited for the familiar twinge to pierce her chest at the sight of the young cub. It was not as pronounced, but it was still there. She had become so used to seeing Nala and Simba together that, to this day, she could not lay eyes on her son's closest pridemate without thinking of him. The fissure in Sarabi's heart widened a little more as she caught the sadness lurking in Nala's eyes, and she was pretty sure she knew the source of it. Sarabi had yet to get the full story from Sefu, but since she already had a good idea of what had occurred after the two lionesses took off for the waterhole. She could only imagine the scene Serafina had caused, racing after Nala, pulling her out of the games. How could she have done such a thing, and in front of the cubs' pridemates? When Nala moved away from the bush willow, Sarabi figured the cub was heading to the spot in the clearing where the other cubs who had participated in tonight's games had all gathered. She flicked her head back in surprise when she realized Nala was instead walking directly towards her. "Well, hello, Nala," Sarabi greeted. "How are you?" Nala shrugged. "If I'm being honest, I must say you look a bit down." "A little," Nala muttered. "I hope it isn't because of the outcome of the hunting games. There is always a winning team and a losing team. That's just the way things are." "I know," she said. Sarabi leaned in closer to her ear. "Do you want to hear a secret?" Nala looked up at her and nodded, her eyes wide. "Well, it isn't so much a secret. It's just that there are few still residing on Pride Rock who are old enough to remember. But back when I participated in my first hunting games..." "Thanks, Quinn. Not only was my team on the losing end, but we failed to bring in a single kill." "Not even a hare?" Nala asked. "Not even a tiny little hare," Sarabi confirmed. "So, you see, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You, Bantu, and Puleng all did us very proud tonight, and you will have the opportunity to participate in another hunting games before you reach full-grown status." "That's just it," Nala said. She drew her paw in a slow circle on the ground, making grooves in the loose dirt. "The same thing will probably happen the next time." "You don't know that." "Yes, I do," Nala said, a shade of desperation entering her voice. "How will anything change if I don't learn to hunt?" "You will eventually learn to hunt, Nala." She shook her head. "No, I won't. Not with the way my mother has been acting." Nala looked up at her, her eyes drowning in hurt. "She won't let me do anything, Sarabi. She barely allows me to play games with the other cubs. If I take just a few steps away from her, she's screaming for me to get back." She did not have to explain. Sarabi had witnessed it with her own eyes. All the lionesses had seen it. A few of them had even met to discuss what to do about Seraphina and her increasingly alarming overprotectiveness. The other lionesses had been gracious enough not to bring up what had triggered Seraphina's behavior, but they all knew the catalyst behind it. It was the one reason why Sarabi had held off discussing it with her friend. She had hoped it would get better in time, but the opposite had happened. Seraphina's smothering had become even more egregious. "Will you talk to her?" Nala now asked. Sarabi reared back. "Oh, Nala, I don't know." "You have to," the cub pleaded. "You're the only one here who she will listen to." "Sarabi, do you know what happens to full-grown lionesses who never learn to hunt?" "Nothing will happen to you," Sarabi reassured her. "You belong to a pride that takes care of its own, no matter what." "Prides change," Nala said. "You, my mother, Sefu, and the others, you all will not live forever. It is something I did not think about very much before." She let her words trail off. "Oh, Nala," Sarabi whispered, reaching for her. Nala jerked out of her reach. "But bad things happen," she continued. "It is not always bad things. It is just life. No lion lives forever. And when you and my mother and the other senior lionesses are gone, Ola and Kahina will be the lionesses running this pride. Something tells me they will not feel the same way about taking care of their own as you do." Sarabi wanted to refute her words, to tell her she was worried about issues that would never come to pass. But Nala had a point. Sarabi did not know what would become of this pride once she was no longer here. She hated the thought of Foyola's bossy cub controlling the pride lands, but even if Sarabi were to anoint the next leader of their pride, Ola would always call for a challenge. Sarabi closed her eyes, unable to bear the thought of the in-pride fighting that could ensue. It was the type of thing that could lead to the downfall of the pride lands. "I need to learn how to hunt," Nala said. "I don't want to have to rely on my pride mates to hunt for me. I want to be able to contribute, and there is no reason that I should not learn to hunt, except that my mother thinks it is too dangerous. If it isn't too dangerous for Puleng, who is younger than I am, then it isn't too dangerous for me. My mom is not being reasonable." Sarabi couldn't argue with her. It was not a question that Seraphina's irrational fears were holding Nala back, but it wasn't until the young cub had laid it out so succinctly that Sarabi realized the true harm Seraphina was inadvertently causing her cub. She was leaving her ill-prepared to face the world, and in the end, it could put Nala in real danger. "Okay," Sarabi said. Nala's eyes widened. "Okay? You mean you'll do it? You'll talk to her?" "Yes," Sarabi answered. "When?" She released a weighty sigh. "I guess there's no better time to do it than right now." If she had considered backing down on her promise, the excited gratitude on Nala's face sealed her fate. She led the way, with Nala following closely behind. They found Seraphina lounging near the trunk of a downed jackleberry tree with several of the other lionesses. Seraphina, can I speak with you?" "Over there?" Sarabi asked, gesturing towards Pride Rock with her head. Seraphina tilted her head to the side, her eyebrows angling downwards with her confused frown. Is something wrong?" she asked, looking at Sarabi and then at Nala. "Over there," Sarabi repeated. She motioned for Nala to stay back. This would probably be easier if Seraphina did not have the cause for her overprotective behavior by her side. "What is it?" her friend asked as soon as they'd arrived under the canopy created by the rock formations producing protruding ledge. "Sefu told me what happened tonight down at the scrublands," Sarabi opened. "What is there to tell?" Seraphina asked, her tone becoming immediately defensive. "That I saved my daughter from almost certain danger? Not a single cub was in any danger tonight. You have been around for enough hunting games to know that. She huffed. You sound just like Sefu. Because Sefu sees that you are getting out of paw with I don't care what any of you think, Seraphina shouted. I have to protect Nala. She is all I have. I know that, Sarabi said. But there is a fine line between protecting her and doing irreparable harm. Nala must learn to hunt. She will learn to when? Sarabi asked, cutting her off this time. Whenever the lionesses take the junior cubs out on a hunting expedition, you come up with an excuse for Nala to remain at Pride Rock. She will never learn the skills she needs to survive if you won't allow her to go past the waterhole. Did she put you up to this? Seraphina asked, pointing a paw at Nala. Did you arrange this? She called out to her daughter. Seraphina, don't, Sarabi said, reaching for her. But Seraphina shook her off, pulling out of her grasp and marching back towards where the others were gathered. Sarabi ran after her. By the time she caught up with Seraphina, the lioness was already questioning her cub. What was the reason behind this, Nala? Seraphina asked. Did you think I would let you go frolicking around the savannah simply because Sarabi told me to? No, I just, Nala's voice broke. She just wants to be like the other cubs, Sarabi answered for her. Seraphina twisted around. She is not like the other cubs. She is my cub, and I will do whatever I can to keep her safe. I will not end up like you. Sarabi's head jerked back as gasps rang out from the other lionesses who stood around the clearing. It felt as if she had been slapped with sharp claws. Though Seraphina's claw would not have hurt her nearly as badly as her words had, she never could have imagined her best friend saying such an awful thing to her. But at least now she knew how Seraphina truly felt. Sarabi lifted her chin in the air. I believe I will turn in for the night. Foyola rushed to her side, but Sarabi held her off. No, I am okay, Sarabi said. Continue celebrating with your cubs. Projecting the strength she had been forced to display even on her darkest days, she turned and staunchly made her way back to Pride Rock.